Good afternoon, traders, and welcome to this week's weekly market analysis class, Monday the 11th of December. As always, please understand that any advice in today's session is of a general nature only and that your personal circumstances have not been taken into consideration. All right, I'll post up the news events that major impacting ones for the week. I'll let you ponder on that while I chat a little bit about what's happened last week, what's happening this week, and the key things to look out for. If we start off with the US dollar, well, we had good non-farm payroll numbers come in last Friday, which was really seen as the last hurdle for the Fed Reserve before their FOMC meeting, which will be happening this week. Incidentally, let me highlight it for you so that everybody can see. That's on Thursday, in the early hours of Thursday morning. That's in my local Eastern Standard Australian time. So the non-farm pay numbers basically were satisfactory as far as the Fed Reserve can be seen, and now it looks highly likely that they will increase rates. But will it be enough for the US dollar is the question. At the moment, the US dollar is being driven, it seems, more by tax reform issues than anything else. So we'll need to wait and see what happens. I think everybody is expecting an interest rate increase come Thursday. What's going to be key is that statement in that press conference. What do they say along with that decision? Now, should they not increase, well then you pretty much see the US dollar will drop because the market is starting to factor that raise into it, and they will be very disappointed if they do not. Okay, now the other thing that could happen is they could increase by more than the 25 basis points, which is what everybody's expecting. So if they were to increase to say 50 basis points, that would give a real shot of adrenaline to the market, and we would see a lot of US dollar strength. If they basically deliver what everybody's expecting, which is 25 basis points, well then the accompanying statement becomes more key on how they project the path for 2018. Okay, so there you have it. That's the US dollar. If we move on, and let's have a little bit of a focus on the sterling from the UK. Well, the Brexit negotiations have been the biggest story over the weekend after a long battle. A historic deal was reached on Friday, which basically allows both the UK and EU to move on to phase 2 of the process of detaching the UK from Europe. The UK has offered to pay somewhere in the vicinity of 40 to 45 billion euros in the exit agreement, and it has to be said that is much less than the original estimate of 50 to 60 billion. Okay, so it appears that to make negotiations a little bit easier and for everybody to conform, this is the agreement that they've sort of come up with. This particular week for the sterling, they do have a monetary policy meeting, so they will be making a decision on their interest rates, and nothing is expected to move on this front. The vote is always the interesting one with the UK. But this time the predictions are that it's going to be unanimous, unchanged. So let's see what happens. So this could be a major market moving event for the sterling, and that happens on Thursday night our time. Finally, if we move along, if I move along to the euro, pretty much euro fell every day last week despite some healthy data. This week there is a monetary policy meeting. I'll highlight it for you. That happens on Thursday night as well. The last time that there was a monetary policy meeting, the ECB basically cut the asset purchase program, but they said that rates would remain at the current levels well past and beyond the current QE program. So this time at this meeting, we're not really expecting any changes, but if they continue with that dovish approach and deliver a dovish message, we could see the euro drop in value. Finally, locally, the Aussie dollar, there's not really any major highlights. Let me just quickly look at, I think we got, what do we have? Aussie dollar, we have employment numbers over here. And that was really the crust of it. There's nothing else major. We have Governor Lowe will be speaking. But for the Aussie dollar, it's really coming under some selling pressure at the moment as we broke support, which I'll show you in a moment when I move over to my charts. And with the expected US interest rate decision coming forward, we could see our Aussie dollar slide to the next logical I guess a stepping stone, which could be the 74 region. Okay, so there you have it. That's the fundamentals and the data from the current for this particular week. Sorry, should I say? As always, my picked currency pair that will probably be under the most scrutiny from data is going to be the GBP USD, so keep an eye out on that. There's a lot of data for both those pairs, so it should make it nice and volatile. As always, those times are in my local time, which is Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. All right, let me bring my charts forward. If you do have any questions, please type them in as we go along, and I'll try and address them for you. Let's kick off with the Aussie dollar. Now, I already mentioned that we broke support. If I just zoom out a little bit more so that you can see the full picture, we can clearly see that this line that I've drawn here is marking out a solid region, and we have dipped below it. So as I zoom in, this particular candle was a really nice breaking candle, and I think it was one of my chart of the days last week. The way that you would trade that if you were a breakout trader is basically we traded in this direction. Now it hasn't made the move yet. I have already sort of called that one out, so my stance on it remains the same. Should we get that rate decision and things swing out the right combination, which is what most people are expecting, we could see the Aussie dollar trickle and fade even lower towards that 74 region. At the moment, where the current candles stand right now, unless you are a breakout trader, which I generally don't breakout trade for the Monday classes, then there is no trade for me. Okay, but if you are, the trade would be, the logical trade is you could enter at the current level. Here we're aiming in this direction, and you could even put your stop just above there, somewhere in there. We don't have to pay the full price all the way up there, but that's up to yourself. Okay, so that's pretty much what I would do, but a lot of it depends on whether you're breakout trading or not. So I'm going to leave this one alone, but there you have it. That's Aussie USD. Okay, let me move to the euro. Okay, it's almost a flat channel, which I've spotted over here. We have the two touches at the bottom, and we have two touches at the top. We did spot this one last week, and as I zoom in, we didn't quite get an opportunity. Price action in that whole area there didn't really show us what we were looking for, which is a little bit unfortunate because the channel looks set now. We've got 2 and 2, so all we can do now is possibly wait for it to drift to here and then look for the trade and back up. Okay, that's pretty much all that is on the cards for this one. I'm not really willing to do anything else, so I would expect it to drift down. I'm not going to trade it down, but I would think that it would drift down. When it gets to that level that I'm showing you right now, I will look for the price action setup to attempt a long trade. Okay, that's my Euro USD analysis. Let's have a look at the GBP USD. Let me zoom out a little. Okay, so I've got this support line. For some reason, I want to draw this as well. So let me just add it in. Okay, at the current levels right now, there's really nothing I can do, but I'm happy to trade off these two lines now. So, meaning I want the market to come back here, and if I see it over here, that's the first trade that I would be looking for. Okay, so my bottom line, I like it quite a lot. It is solid. It's got a good amount of history on it. So I'm happy to wait for the market to come meet me at this line, and then should I get price action patterns, I would be more than happy to take a long position on that one. So that's our GBP USD. Let's have a look at gold. Okay, let me just zoom out a little bit. I just want to see it a little bit better. Okay, now the line that I've just drawn there, we can see that it's had that kind of bouncy ball effect that I talk about. You might have heard me talk about it. It comes, bounces, and then eventually it falls off, kind of like a bouncing ball falling off the table. It's fallen through right now. Let's see if there's a flag pattern there on a 4-hour chart. Give me one moment. Let me just see. Not quite. Don't have a big pole candle. Okay, so with this one, there's a couple of things we can do. We can wait for a pullback into this area, and when we're there, then we would be happy to either trade off that previous support, which would hopefully turn into resistance. At the same time, it would also be a type of trend trade where essentially the trend has changed and moving downward. Okay, so there you have it. Look out for that one. Let's see if it can pull back, and let's see if we can hit it up there. US yen. Okay, the top line is solid, really established resistance line. We are inching towards it, so the logical trade is wait. Let's see if we can get what we want right there, and then we would attempt to trade it downwards. Now remember, when I draw these little circles, guys, if there's anybody newer in the class, I'm not just trading off that level or at that price level, wherever that line is. What I'm doing is in that circle, I'll just highlight one. What I would like to see here is a candle formation that perhaps looks a little bit like this, with a fractal and then another inside candle, and then on the next candle, that's the trade that I would trade down. So when I draw the circle, I'm kind of looking for an inside candle, an engulfing candle, maybe a body engulfing, a hanging man, shooting star, those types of things. If I find one of those at that correct level, that gives me the price action confirmation that I'm looking for, and then I would be happy to trade off that price action combination. Okay? All right. Let's have a look at the euro yen. Ooh, okay, euro yen still ranging. I just reconfigured my entire computer, so a lot of my tools are still not available. If you don't have your little box area indicator, just in this section up here, just right click, go to customize. I'm doing it right now as I speak with you. Then on the left hand side, there'll be a rectangle, that one. Click on insert, click, then close it. And now I've got the box over there. Then what I do is simply just highlight it. I think by default is in blue. If you don't like blue, double click on the edge, then it lights up. Right click, go to properties, change your color. I like this one, dim gray. Okay. So clearly I've got congestion there. Let me home in on it a little bit better. Well, let's see if we get something here. Maybe we can take a trade here. I feel that for a daily candle, by the time you get your setup, you may be entering your trade here and there's not enough room to the other side. So what you may want to do is maybe have a look at it on a 4-hour chart, because it may give you a better opportunity. I think we were looking at this last week, and I don't remember where we were, but surely probably over here. I can see here there's a setup right there, and if you had taken this one, you hit target by about here, or maybe there somewhere. But so let's see what happens. Maybe on a 4-hour, let's see if we can get another setup over there. Okay. So what's that? Euro yen on a 4-hour time frame. Kiwi dollar. Zoom out. Get a better picture. Okay, it's doing that bouncy ball type thing. We can see that the floor is over here somewhere, and it's coming again. So either what's going to happen is it'll shoot up, and we're not trying to take that trade, so that's okay. Or the other one is it'll just basically break through. So if you're a breakout trader, this is the one that you would be looking for. The one that's shooting up, not so much now. I'm just going to watch this one, but I am keen to, if you maybe on a 4-hour chart. One moment. No, there's nothing. Okay, we're just going to have to wait for it. Let's just watch this one, see how it plays out. What I will do is I'll just box it up just so that I remember what I was looking for. Okay. Let's have a look at oil. Okay, this is an interesting one. We could be at a point where the trend may be starting to change. Not sure, but what to look for is, you see this is a lower low, okay? Sorry, a higher low, but the next low actually became lower. What I would expect them is to constantly just keep going up. While they're going up, I'm happy that they're in trend. So it's basically they're moving up as such. But on this case, now it's moved the other way. Okay, so when I see a chart like that, typically what can happen is we could stay in there for a little bit while the battle between buyers and sellers goes on, until eventually one side will win, and then it falls or it continues on its journey. So this would be an interesting one just to mark on your chart, just to watch it and just to learn from this type of behavior. Okay, so at the moment, it just feels like it's about to go and start doing that, and I think it's just from watching so many charts. I don't really have any concrete evidence that is helping me come to that conclusion, but definitely I can see that it could be at a point where the trend could change, and when that happens, we can imagine a battle between buyers and sellers going on, and as the market starts to consolidate. Okay, so let's just watch that one. Let's see if it actually plays out. We're not trading it, so there's no dramas there. ASX 200. Let me have a look at this chart. Okay, so this chart went through that crazy period, then shot up, and now it's starting to do it again. Okay, it's starting to range again. I don't know how long these ranging periods last for or don't last for. If you're a range trader, you tend to love these types of setups because you just keep trading from one edge to the other, backwards and forwards, and you get many opportunities out of it. What I am noticing though is that one entire candle is almost covering half of the range, so it won't really leave too much room by attempting to do price action type trading for this particular chart. So if you wanted to do the range method, then you may have to just trade off a level. I'm not willing to do that, so I will just sit on the sidelines and just watch this when I wanted to either leave or I want that area to get a little bit bigger. So if it's just a little bit bigger, then I'm happy to try and range trade it. But if it's too tight, then I'll rather just wait for the market to break away from that area and give me different types of possibilities. Okay. All right. I've actually, the charts aren't showing too much. Normally what you'll find as we lead into Christmas and the new year, probably this week and probably by about mid next week, so next Wednesday. Let me just check a calendar. What's the date next Wednesday? Give me one moment. Next Wednesday is the 20th. About the 20th forward, we'll see that the volatility will start to relax more, and definitely the volumes will come down because a lot of the major players, they have a little break. Generally, myself, I stop trading by the end of this week, and I take about a month off, give my eyes a rest, and I just want to really just enjoy Christmas. If you're just starting out, it can be quite a nice period to trade because it's a little bit more gentle, and if you're trading at like small volumes, you're not going to have any problems with getting your orders filled or anything like that. It's only like for if you're trying to do like 40 lot trades, 50 lot trades, that you may come into a little bit more volume issues. But if you're not at those levels, you're going to have no dramas at all, and it can be a quite relaxed time to sort of practice your craft and learn a little. Okay, so just take note of those. But this week is like a full week. It's all systems go. There's a lot of data coming out. We've got three different central banks making monetary decisions. That is the US, the UK, and the euro. So it will provide lots and lots of volatility for everybody. So that's pretty much what's on the cards. All right, does anybody have any questions? I'm more than happy to take any questions. Let me just go back and quickly review. There was no setups today. If you're really looking and itching for setups, you can drop into like a 4-hour time zone to basically try and exploit any support lines, any resistance lines, and try and get something out of it. Now, Aussie US, we established a broken support level. The best way to try and play this one is wait for the market to move back up to it and then try and hit the sell off that support level. Euro USD, we're inside a nice channel, so what we would ideally want is to move to the other side to try and take that type of trade. GBP USD, the bottom line is solid. It's got a lot of history, so I'm very, very happy with that. I've just drawn in the top, creating a convergent triangle. Let's see if we can get a trade as we move towards one of those edges. Gold just broke through that bouncing ball, falling off the table type momentum. So let's see if it can go back up to that resistance and then trade off the resistance as a sell. US yen, we are approaching a nice resistance level. This one could be set very, very soon, maybe in the next 2 days. Okay, so keep an eye on that one. Euro yen on a 4-hour. Why have I gone 4-hour? On a daily, we're inside some heavy congestion. if you do want to trigger a trade, maybe drop into a 4-hour as we get towards the fringes. Kiwi dollar is one that we're just watching. Oil feels like it's about to consolidate. Trend change possibility. Let me just draw that in and just keep it. Finally, ASX definitely seems to be consolidating. Let's see what happens there. Questions being asked. I had a GBP Swiss chart of the day. Euro pound is also seem to have that. Can I have a quick look? Let me have a quick look at the euro pound. Fishing strip. I think I saw this one as well. Karen, one moment. Okay, Karen saying here's a setup for the fishing strip. Can we trade it in this direction? It looks okay. Let me just zoom out a little bit for one moment. On a positive note, there's also seems to be a lot of support there, so it actually supports that type of trade. So that looks okay as well. Thank you for that, Karen. Sam's asking, can I have a look at the DAX? One moment. Where is the DAX? Give me 1 second. I think something's changed on my computer. There we go. Okay. A lot of forward momentum. And there's still this noise over here. I really would like to move either that way or that way before I continue to trade this one. Okay, so I don't want to get involved with this one until I move out of those two regions. Okay. Someone's asking for Bitcoin. Look, I'll have a look at it, but at the moment, Bitcoin is just pointless looking at the chart because when there's so much hype in the market, your technicals just simply don't work. This is Bitcoin, right? There is just so much fear in the market. On Friday, there was a bit of a sell-off, and it dropped like 2,000 points, like straight away, simply because everybody's just, they're gambling on it and they're banking. There's a lot of fear and emotion on it. Whenever I see a chart that just looks exponential like that, I always stay away from it. So I don't even want to analyze this one. It's just pointless. Okay. Any other questions, guys? No? Okay, I'm going to run a special. I don't have a time slot yet, but probably next week. I'm just going to run a special live trading session for anybody who hasn't traded live at all and would like to trade live and still hasn't got the confidence. I'm going to run a specific session next week. I'm going to try and drop into like a day trading strategy and trade live. So I'll open up the room. It might be open for an hour and a half. I don't know. I just got to wait and see what the setups are. I'll let everybody know, so you'll receive an email. If you want to come, feel free to join. Hopefully I can get a couple of trades going for the session. But I just thought I'd let you know. Okay. So Other than that, I guess if you watch the daily call, you'll hear my voice tomorrow. Look out for the email for next week's session. And of course, the next Monday, I'll be doing the Monday session as well. Okay. Have a great remainder of the day, guys. Have a great trading week, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye for now.